This video contains spooky imagery, flashing lights and dark content. Viewer discretion advised.
Everyone loves a good scare now and then. Survival horror video games have become increasingly popular over the past years as graphics and visuals have become more realistic. However, it's not just that genre that springs to mind. There are hundreds of great games that will give you a good jump, but these specific 40 should give you the frights from start to finish. So forget about a snack, turn off the lights, ramp up the volume, and let's start off this top 40 scary horror games.
This is the top 40 scary horror games. Number 40. Blood.
It's derivative, it's violent, and definitely scary at times, but it's almost always fun to play. If you like first-person shooters, you're going to want to add blood to your collection. In fact, the biggest problem is that the game is just too damn hard. You've never seen enemies deliver so much damage as quickly as in Blood. This is what makes the game quite frightening, as players are on their last ditch of help trying to find some resources when they're chased by bigger foes.
Number 39. Phantasmagoria.
It seemed like a dream come true for Adrienne Delaney and her husband Donald Gordon. A beautiful estate on its own private island is the most perfect place to build a life together. But an ominous presence lurks within these halls, the rooms, and every passageway of their mysterious home. The previous owner, a 19th century master illusionist, left behind a twisted trail of terror, and now Adrienne must uncover the clues and gather the objects necessary to save her husband from true evil.
Number 38. Seventh Guest.
Imaginative and scary, Seventh Guest is one of a kind in those early days of suspense gaming. The atmosphere was indeed creepy, and the game had the tendency to uphold that for a very long time during your play. Of course, you couldn't compare this game to what we have nowadays, but with clever imagery, there were possibilities that even a simple puzzle could freak you out.
Number 37. Darkseid 2.
While using the same digitized sprites, Darkseid 2 sports vastly better looking photorealistic environments. The real fun of this game isn't the find and use adventure mechanics, which are pretty standard, but in the sheer nasty-mindedness of it. Some of the psychological sequences are certain to give the sensitive gamer nightmares. The music is high quality and very spooky. Creepy innuendos abound. With a showcase of some truly ghastly art, Darkseid 2 is a worthwhile endeavor.
Number 36. The White Chamber.
The White Chamber is a point-and-click horror adventure in which you play the part of an unnamed young woman who literally just woke up in a coffin in a dark room. She has no idea how she got there, and you do not even know her name. For most of the game, the music is non-existent, leaving you to the ambience of the computers and machines around you, piping up only when it can drive the tension through the room. Overall, this is one creepy game. It will make you nervous, it will make you uncomfortable, and it will keep you coming back till you see the conclusion. If you're a fan of horror titles that actually are scary, pick this up. Do not hesitate.
Number 35. Sanitarium.
Taking place in an insane asylum filled with crazed patients, Sanitarium puts you in the role of an anesthetic who must discover the truth about his identity in incarnation. Despite the cliché premise, the mysteries of this little-known, much-loved point-and-click adventure unravel into a rich psychological horror experience that flips between ominous gothic asylum, Blake, flashbacks from the protagonist's past, and the nightmarish delusions of his troubled psyche.
Number 34. Alone in the Dark.
The original Alone in the Dark might not be very scary by modern standards, but it definitely deserves a great deal of credit for helping blaze the trail, both for atmospheric tension and the genre of games that would soon become known as survival horror. Alone in the Dark is the first such game to use fixed camera angles for each room, along with 3D graphics. It takes place in a very spooky mansion, with the main character, Edward Carnby, must investigate the dreaded place and survive the attacks of deadly monsters that lurk around the next corner.
Number 33. Rule of Rose.
This suspenseful adventure game is set in a mysterious world that is under control of a group of young girls. Taking control of Jennifer, you'll have to work with the rules created by the girls as you solve puzzles, fight enemies, and attempt to free yourself from dungeons. An eerie, controversial, super spooky, overlooked PS2 title that all horror fans should definitely check out.
Number 32. Obscure.
Leafdown may look more like a rundown hospital or mental asylum than a functioning high school, but it serves its spooky purposes nicely. Moving shadows add eerie possibilities to every corridor, giving you the impression that something's always about to leap from a nearby door or locker. The tense atmosphere is further enhanced with distant roars, banging noises that can't be explained, and a hair-raising music soundtrack that features Latin chanting. In the end, Obscure lives up to its name, even if it can't compete to the original classics with the likes of Resident Evil or Silent Hill.
Number 31. I'll lead.
A famous media mogul has issued a challenge. He'll award $1 million to anyone who can make it out of his latest horror theme park alive. You are Eco, the young president of the local high school's horror club. Your mission is to rescue your 3 friends in the theme park and claim their award. With the park staffed by slashers, zombies, demons, and other horror movie denizens, you must use all your senses to escape death, whenever it might be some horrible creature or by sheer fright.
Number 30. The Lost Crown. A ghost hunting adventure.
The Lost Crown is a scary and thrilling new adventure title inspired by classic ghost stories and today's modern house hunting stories. The haunting scenes combined with night vision cameras, EVP and other ghost hunting gadgets bring a frightening story to gamers. Players take on the role of Nigel Danvers, who travels to an eerie seaside town in England's east coast. There they learn to use advanced techniques used by real paranormal investigators and uncover an ancient mystery and treasure. Murder, mystery and suspense await the braver and talented gamers.
Number 29. Cursed Mountain.
Cursed Mountain is a survival horror game for the Wii, where Eric Simmons, a Scottish mountaineer, is searching for his brother lost in the Himalayas. The storyline of the game is mainly plotted on Buddhism and Tibetan folklore. Unlike other horror games, this game gives you an open space to operate, creating an essence of agoraphobia. There isn't a mountain bearing on all of your time, and the ground beneath you opens up to a sky-filled oblivion.
Number 28. Clock Tower.
Clock Tower is one scary game. The premise may sound pretty silly, but believe me, this game will make you jump more often than you'd want. A disfigured mass murderer, called the Scissor Man, is on the loose, cutting up citizens of Norway, and you must piece together the clues to stop him. Clock Tower combines a point-and-click 3D interface with some of the toughest puzzles since Myst. What's more, is that Scissor Man can emerge at any time, at any point in the game, and chase the player down, so the players must find a place to hide. But be warned, not all hiding places are created equal.
Number 27. Area 51.
Area 51 takes elements from other first-person shooting games like the gameplay of Halo and the creepy environments of Doom 3, and thrusts you into a no-so-secret base where all hell is broken loose. The great-looking environments are also accompanied by a lot of ambient noises, which does a good job of adding to the creeps. Most of the enemies will attack from dark places or even from behind, adding to the tension factor.
Number 26. Darkness Within.
In classic Lovecraft fashion, the game begins in an insane asylum, with your character looking back to how he got there. From the very beginning, the game is a somewhat dreamlike quality. When strange things begin happening, it's difficult to know if you're witnessing an actual phenomenon or simply in the middle of another hallucination. The game does succeed in being scary at times, not the gruesome jump scares, but the more lingering presence fear. Music is done right and gives the player something is about to go down.
Number 25. Half-Life.
Although it doesn't necessarily fit into the long list of conventional horror games, the original Half-Life had some genuinely frightening moments. Its memorable ambience, original setting, and exciting gameplay turned it into an instantaneous classic. The scare parts and the game's overall creepiness are partially rooted in the works of prominent horror and fantasy author Stephen King. In short, this game will always be among some of the scariest ever created. Much of its coolness and atmosphere was perpetrated by the insanely popular sequel, which successfully took every aspect of the game to the next level.
Number 24. Haunting Ground.
Haunting Ground pares down the survival horror experience to its most basic, frightening form, running for your life. When one of the game's persistent killers is hot on the trail of defenseless protagonist Fiona, the game descends into madness. Impressive panic effects distort the time, corrupt the visuals, and muddle your controls, making your playtime all the more disturbing. Just how scary is Haunting Crown? Play it for yourself. See what you think.
Number 23. Scratches.
Scratches is a terrifying game where a story from the past emerges to haunt the present. You control famed horror writer Michael Arthright as he explores Blackwood Manor, a Victorian house near an English market town. It's quiet and pleasant, until odd noises in the basement keep him up at night. As they grow louder, you'll explore the house and unlock the strange tales that echo throughout its halls and walls. The atmosphere is the strongest part of the game, and its creepiness can be very extreme at times.
Number 22. Painkiller.
Painkiller is an award-winning first-person horror shooter designed to satisfy a gamer's hunger for intense, fast-paced action. It's an adrenaline addict's nightmare, where hellish monsters swarm in seemingly endless mobs. The axe-wielding monks are very sinister, and the soldiers in gas masks are scary enough to cause nightmares. Then you have these insect-like creatures that skitter across the floor, and when you shoot them, a facehugger creature breaks up and continues the attack. These are perhaps some of the most frightening creatures created in a first-person shooter, and their sizes dwarf your character, making you feel very insignificant.
Number 21. Clive Barker's Undying.
As the game's hero explores his friend's estate in Ireland, he uncovers supernatural creatures. An excellent mix of first-person shooting and spellcasting, Undying lets the player deal considerable amounts of damage to their enemies, but the absence of ammo, disturbing images, and gorgeous lighting effects make this hair-raising PC game definitely one to play with the lights off.
Number 20. BioShock.
BioShock's city, called Rapture, makes a strong first impression, and leaves a lasting one even after you turn the console off. It's a beautiful modern utopia laid low by corruption and decay. You know something terrible can happen at any time because of the mess and debris around you suggest that terrible things never stopped happening. And while you explore the ruins of this decadent city, you'll constantly hear the eerie audio combination of obviously optimistic music and bangs and ramblings of deranged citizens in the vicinity.
Number 19. Metro 2033.
It's the moments in the game that successfully embraces its survival horror side with some keep the light on stumbling that feels similar to the better parts of Doom 3. That's not to say this is strictly a Monster Closet scarefest though, and Metro features quite a few clever puzzles and stealth elements. It's also shockingly tense due to the overbearing darkness of the Metro and the fact that you have limited ammo. Sound is expertly used to convey a sense of overwhelming dread. The tunnels in the subway system provide eerie echoes. You may be all alone, armed with only a few rounds of ammo, and hear the monstrous howls from the approaching Dark Ones. But due to the echo effect, you may not know where they are coming from. If you play this at night after everyone has gone to bed and you don't have a few jump out your seat moments, then you're dead inside, because there are times when this game is genuinely frightening.
Number 18. The Thing.
This game acts as a sequel to the 1982 film of the same name. An alien that can imitate other life forms has taken up residence in an Antarctic base, and the player's team is sent in to investigate. Since the alien can imitate any life form, the horror comes from not ever knowing that even if one of your own player's teammates is actually the alien.
Number 17. Eternal Darkness.
The brilliance of Eternal Darkness wasn't in the storyline though, it was the way the game played with the player's head. Every creature the player encountered drained sanity from the player. As the sanity decreased, the game's sound effects and music were gradually replaced by sinister voices whispering. Illusionary characters and rooms appeared on the screen, and sometimes it seemed as if the game crashed or entire inventory disappeared. It was extremely effective and very, very creepy.
Number 16. System Shock 2.
In this classic first-person adventure, players play a soldier suffering from amnesia that wakes up on a seemingly abandoned spaceship and makes a horrifying discovery. Its crew has been transformed into scary monsters called the Many, and a homicidal artificial intelligence called Shodan runs the show. With monsters running all over the place and Shodan feeding them lies or the truth, System Shock 2 creates a wonderful sense of absolute dread.